Oh, yes, we are here. Episode 34, on the road, in the waves, and on the other side with Paul Carpenter. That's me. And we are here now, my friends. I'm super excited to announce today we are live on Facebook. We are live on Facebook groups. We are live on my Facebook profile. We are live on LinkedIn. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Twitch. We are live, ladies and gentlemen. And today I am excited to say that this is episode 34. And my friends, this is going to be a good one. I have a friend of mine on today. He is a psychonaut, journeyman within the mind, using all types of psychedelics, as well as many other amazing things that he does and who he is. I have him here as my guest, and just now I'm going to put him in. I'm just waiting for him to join up, and as soon as he does, I'll have him on, and we're going to have an amazing day today. I'm so excited about today. I'd like to say that if those of you who are out there who want to know, I'm using what's called StreamYard. I'm super excited about working with that and seeing how that works. And so here we go. I'm just waiting for, once again, for him to join in. I sent him a link a moment ago. We'll find it. If you guys wouldn't mind, would love to see your comments. I can't go to all the different profiles at once, but some of the comments will show up. If you could, this would be cool, make a comment and then put like Facebook or Twitter or I don't know, something that lets me know where it's coming from. I believe I have my friend Joseph here, Mr. Psy Fly. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Psy Fly himself, and we are in. Let's go. How you doing today, my friend?
Doing very well, brother. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. If you want, you can turn your camera the other way. We can go wide angle together.
All right. Let's see.
It should work. It should just pop really cool.
Okay.
I mean, if it makes it more comfortable for you, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it won't do it. No.
Let's see.
We tried. Okay. We tried. Anyways, man, thank you for coming on to the show today. Thank you for hanging out with me and doing this. If you wouldn't mind, my friend Joseph, please tell us, who are you? Where do you come from? What do you do? And let us know a little about you.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, most folks that I grew up with, they know me as Matt. I got 4 names, was blessed with that. That's Joseph Matthew William Magyar, and I was born and raised in Greensboro, North Carolina. I've been staying about 20 minutes north of that here in Stokesdale for the last 15 years or so, but Greensboro is always my hometown. So
nice. So, and that's where that's where you're at now.
Yeah, I'm about 20 minutes north of Greensboro, so it keeps me out of what little bit of city noise there is. I'm up here in Stokesdale, which is a little more rural, about 10 minutes from the Virginia border. So I could ride a bicycle to Virginia.
Oh, wow. Very, very cool. Okay. So now, when you were growing up, I guess, what was your life like? What were you into? What were you doing? All that, like, give us a little heads up on you and how we get to where you are today and who you are today.
Cool. So I moved about 9 times before I was able to get to where I'm at now, being an only child, single parent, and mom keeping us under a roof. We ended up moving all around Greensboro, so I got to go to a lot of different schools around the same area. And once I'd gone from McLeansville, I'd gone to Gibsonville, I'd gone to the Brown Summit area. I'd been more downtown Greensboro. And once we had moved up here to what is my great-grandparents' property, this is a heritage that we've got up here. We've got my mother and her 2 sisters. We've got just about all of the family that lives here on the farm with us now. So it's pretty amazing how much family close by. And when I finished high school, I went straight to work. Actually, I was already working in high school doing short order cook at the local diners. Always have loved cooking. It's one of those universal languages, man, that just it doesn't need any kind of translating. We all got to eat, you know. But I didn't go straight for a vehicle. I went straight for a roof over my head, something that I could call my own, and I could also give myself that space to grow, get out from under my mom's wing, you know, and want to give her space and respect her. And of course, being a teenage kid, man, I'm smoking grass. I'm showing my tail. I'm not being a helpful part of the household. So the best thing I could do is just go ahead and just get down the road, which is what I did. And only just down the road. I did a little couch surfing with some friends in high school, and made my way back into Greensboro, getting away from here for a little while. But did come back and finish out my high school, which I was putting back. And in doing so, we had one of the mobile homes in this stretch of land that the family has opened up just 2 doors down from where my mother was. And none of us are getting any younger. And the very least I could do would be to try to help take care of the family that's helped take care of me, raised me for so many years. So I went ahead and spoke to my grandmother, who was the owner of the property at that time. I said, what can I do to go ahead and start putting money towards the family and go ahead and take over this vacant lot, basically, and make an investment to get a roof over my head, something that couldn't be, necessarily take as long as the taxes are paid. They can't, I don't have to move anymore. And that was probably instilled, like I said, in having to move so many times and having to kind of feel uprooted in that way, that I dove so heavily into. I want this place for sure. I want to have some place that I don't have to leave. And now, like I said, it's the convenience of being right here next to family. So we're able to stay in close proximity and help. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
So what do you, as you grew up, in your bio, it says jack of all trades. It seems as though, and maybe I'm just kind of throwing it out there and guessing, but did you have a direction that you wanted to take or something that you were wanting to do?
I was very much in the wind. Mom worked a lot, so I was pretty much out on the road, just picking up what I liked, and I've always liked variety. I don't like getting stagnant or feeling like I'm bored in any way. So being raised around a college area, because it was either UNCG or Guilford College. I came up around a lot of older kids, and also came up around a lot of older folks, and being around my mom's folks. She was a singer, and did a lot of singing in the piano bars. So her parents helped raise me. So it was always a very, very much older crowd. So I got to pick up a lot of these trade skills from these older folks that in their day were like master mechanics or professional carpenters. And of course, the codes for these things, they change. There's updates to all sorts of information. Can't slow down progress. But, it paced me into wanting to do many different things, because I was always told that you're going to need to do or be able to do for yourself a little bit of everything. Right. And it kept me interested. It kept, kept my mind busy. And one of the most influential things that was something common throughout the family was music. My grandfather picked guitar. My grandmother played piano. My mother was a singer. I think all of the girls, my mother and her 2 sisters, learned piano at one point or another. And always, every holiday, they get together and sing and carol, and they sound great. But it was music that pulled me out of more rambunctious times of my youth. When I was about 13.
Sorry. So you started getting into bands and playing music yourself, and
picking up my grandfather's guitar a little bit and just learning some rhythm. Him teaching me some of the chords to a good friend of mine, Jason Trimble, father of my godson, man's brother to me. He's passed now, but he was the first one to set a pair of turntables in front of me and teach me how to beat match and mix vinyl records.
Cool.
And that was just so much fun. It was very, very popular at the time. 2004 or 5, I guess it would have to have started around then.
And and how old are you around that time?
I was about 13, I'd say.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
And so as you get out of your teenage years and you're now kind of around and doing your thing, what were you doing, or what? I'm not sure how old you are now, so I'm guessing somewhere in your 30s.
Yeah, I'm 32 now.
Right. So in your 20s, mid 20s, what were you doing for life, work? Or is it just a myriad of everything?
Yeah, and that's how it kind of played into it. It was always a melting pot of what work was available at the time, and if I was moving around, when I was doing my couch surfing, I was picking up subcontract jobs, getting a lot of different experience through different areas of construction, whether it was flooring or concrete or drywall, electric, plumbing, whatever.
Just anything, right? Just anything to work and just live.
Right, something just stay fed.
Right. And then what started the psychonaut journeys, and at what time did you start, right in
that period,
dabbling in that world? Yeah.
When I was right when I was learning how to mix vinyl records, I was selling grass at the time. Ironically, I was 13, running around with like $5K in your pocket. That's a little wild. Maybe a tiny fraction of that was mine, but easy to do in a college neighborhood right there, by high school and college campus, and you live in an apartment complex, just very easy, like clients. And this guy sees me riding around on my bicycle, those Oyster Virgin mobile phones, the little burner. Now they're like burner phones. Back then, that was fancy. We'd pay however much for our ringtones and all. Get off the phone and look over this guy across the parking lot and ask him if he needs to buy any grass. And I think he was 21 at the time, and just completely baffled because we had never really spoken. And he said, "Man, I could be a cop." And he was worried for me. I said, "Man, but you're not, though. I've seen you riding around, in your drop top with your friends. Stuff. You're not." And he said, "Well, I don't need anything, but you look like you need a hobby, man. Why don't you come inside and show you something?" And I already could hear the bass music, and I could smell the scene. He reeked of the old like rave days coming from the '90s. He had me by about 8 or 10 years, and I was like, you know a little something. I'm interested. And took me under his wing and kept a lot of my mind and my time occupied away from what I'm sure was not going to become better or safer behavior for a kid that age.
Right, on some level, he became like your big brother. Like
he really did, yeah. He
wow.
did, and just a.
I mean, you have to think maybe because of him, you didn't maybe go to like a different life altogether, like literally like prison and this, that, and the other, and the revolving door of BS and all of it. There's a big chance that guy probably saved your life on some level.
Oh, absolutely, man, and
that's intense.
Yeah, the pace, especially when you don't know what you're doing. A kid with a little bit of money in his pocket, a little extra money in his pocket, and that kind of atmosphere, things can get dangerous really fast and
really quickly. Yeah, of course, especially for a kid, 13 years old, was he?
Yeah. That was right. That was like I'd been shot at that age about the first time, and it was just an intense time, and that guy really pulled my ass out of the fire. I got a picture of him here. But Jason Trimble, DJ, Baby J, that guy taught me a massive amount of stuff and blessed me in many ways. Actually was another reason that I ended up going into some of the functions like where you and I had met.
Mhm.
He was like my main man. He put me there
You're like
because,
conduit to that world.
yeah, because you know, a lot of his friends and family were in that same area.
That's some kind of scene and that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, and it was a safe space, you know, as opposed to some of the places that I probably would have gone, especially in uh, the lack of direction that I had. There's no telling where I might have ended up, and I spent a lot of time just out, hanging out with different crowds, different people. That, looking back, it's amazing that something worse didn't happen. Then it.
So I just want to. I'm not trying to cut you off, but I'm just trying to start using this new app as I'm doing it, and it seems as though there is a way. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can. I don't know how I can do this, but supposedly, oh, there you go. You can click on it, and it shows up on screen, and it says, Paul Francis Burke says, "Are y'all Saints fans?" I didn't want to. I wasn't trying to kick the conversation in any direction whatsoever. I just wanted to show that you can actually do things. Like, people can actually be involved in this. I don't know where Paul made that post. Now, it's obviously on Facebook, and there's only really two places that I think that it would be seen right now,
Right.
which is either on my profile on Facebook or on my fan page. And that's facebook.com/mentally HYPFAN, all one word, like mentally hip fan. And it's, if you look that up, then maybe if you go make a comment in there, it'll show up. I don't know. But comments are coming through. So I just wanted that to be known for those who are trying to make comments. I just don't know where they're coming from. So you'd have to find out by doing that. But this one did come through Facebook. Just don't know where exactly. Anyways, let's get back to your story. So,
well, you mentioned like where the psychonaut part of my journey.
Yeah, that's how I was going to come back to it. Yeah, but I guess that's what
in that time period. I began learning more about that style of music, and I was already in touch with the college scene. So I kind of blended what I was already doing with the hobby that he was blessing me with. And for better or worse, I got a massive amount of experience with cats that were already around like college level chemists and things of that nature. So I was introduced to things like the research chemical groups, mushroom, and the generation that I was coming up in was already there. The pharmaceutical just epidemic rampage, kids raiding their mom, dads, brothers, sisters, aunt, uncles, grandma, grandpa's medicine cabinets, and just playing Russian roulette with whatever kind of bag of Skittles these kids are bringing around. There was a lot of kids around that were getting hurt, and still to this day, people are trying new crazy things. But yeah, there was a lot of folks that I'd gone to school with that just really hurt themselves going out there on all those different kinds of pills and not doing any kind of research. Shout out to Erowid.org. Erowid is an awesome little gem of information for different chemicals and substances if people decide that they want to try these things. And I was introduced, if I'm not mistaken, to that same forum at about that age. So I got to do a lot more research. I got to learn about what an LD50 is. And for those that don't know, it's a lethal dose based on your body, your age, your weight. And it's just not so simple, but it's just an equation that putting the simplest words just gets you to let you know what you would take based on your body weight that would kill you. And they've done an immense amount of research and posted that all for people to just kind of not adhere to as absolute fact, but just a rough estimate of to be safe. So yeah, I got introduced to those the research chemicals and started getting more into the vinyl and getting into old vinyl records and listening to like the Beatles, and was really thinking about my mother, who was born 61. You know, she was somewhat of a flower child, and I was pretty fixated on that music and that time period, and that also started piquing my interest into what it meant to want to go into the military if I so decided to. You know, what kind of world was I going to enter to? Who was I actually going to be answering to? And I was just, it piqued a lot of different things. That music, again, carried me through, and I think it does a lot of people. Yeah, it just if I had a soundtrack to my life, if you will, there was definitely different songs, different time periods that just really could almost write word for word. I wish, but what was going on at the time, or how I was come to the other side of it. Or if nothing else, even if there weren't any lyrics, it might have been just a nice action movie, just just raging through. Because I'm an experientialist. I'm down to clown. I love to feel good. And I love for folks around me to feel good in a safe respect and respectfully, and being safe.
Yeah. So I want to get back to you, because no offense, right? I love you, Matt, but you're in a lot of places, and I want to concise it so that we can
storyline.
Because you've always kind of been everywhere, and it's a beautiful thing. There's nothing wrong with it in any way, shape, or form. I just want to find a storyline so that we can find out where it is that you are now, what it is that you're doing, and how it is that you're doing what you do for people and other, and so that's where I get it though. So I get it. You've been a child of a mother who's a flower child at some point, right? Moves around a lot within the community of the hippie movement. Growing up through the 70s, 80s, 90s. You're getting connected to this guy who does the DJing, and this then gets you into psychedelics and starts making you start thinking about other things. And so at this point, now you're you have this skill set on some level, which is like DJing, right? Which is teaching you. And then on another level, you have this other thing, which is where you're starting to build this mindset of wanting to expand and learn and grow. Which seems to have always been there, right? You were always on this journey of being rambunctious and kind of looking on the other side, like you were saying, of things. And so,
right.
At what point do you move into the lifestyle, if you will, or more like the next point? What's that next point for you that you're like, oh, okay, wait, I'm going to start here.
So,
and I'm going to go into this life, and yeah.
So, in the latter years of school, I really fell in love with food, nutrition. So I was going to pursue food, and I still love cooking at home and cooking for family, cooking for friends. But I ended up doing so many different diner situations, so many different foods, so many different angles. Other than sticking to working on a farm or something, I wasn't going to wind up in a restaurant that was going to please me unless it was mine. And it was taking the passion out of food. But food was one of those universal languages we got to eat. And then I had the music. And also I was gaining this shamanistic, therapeutic angle on being down on enough trips, been through enough of these psychedelic hurdles that I was able to sit down with people that wanted to go on their own journey and be able to help create a safe space for them to do so. And whether that just be a conversation or actually trying to help facilitate something, to where they're just comfortable, have water and food and music available, and combined all these things into what would have probably been my first college thesis, which would have been psychoacoustics. And somehow incorporated that further on. but what I do now is I'm helping a good friend of mine, and he's helping me. He's just started his own LLC, and he's doing handyman services. He's an electrician by trade. I'm in my second mobile home, and mobile homes need work. They always need work. And anytime you're going to be a homeowner, it's going to need work. So all of these places that I'm going that's residential, my friend is teaching me the electrical side of things, and how to not end up shocking myself.
So at this point, you're becoming an apprentice electrician, but that's your business. That's like your monetary thing, right? Like, but what's your thing that you're
But
do you have what's that?
It plays more into, like, I'm still doing something that is, one, educating me on a fairly constant basis, so it's new. And when I go into these residential places, or even if I go into a commercial situation, we get a job through a general contractor. I look at these jobs. A lot of times it's safety. We'll be putting in like fire doors, or we're putting in something that is structurally vital to the function of the facility. So if something were to happen in that area, it's our work, and I take that kind of pride, that kind of angle. I know when I do a residence, that I'm not just putting paint on a wall. I'm putting paint on a wall that's going to get run into by a son, a grandson, drawn on with marker. There's going to be memories made in the place that I'm working on, and I have this whole this vision of it like that. So whether I'm still rocking around in these different areas of things that are keeping me busy, and what's not a job at the time can be a hobby, or what's not a hobby can be something that's helping me grow at home and develop my own living situation. So,
sure, of course. Sure. So like, we can't really talk about like where we met, but we can talk about, I guess, the ideology and that whole family ideology.
yeah.
So maybe you can give a bit of like how it started or where it comes from, because I personally don't really know much. I know a little bit, I know it started about blah 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 many years ago, but I don't really know a big chunk of it, and maybe you could kind of help everyone like kind of understand it a little more.
Yeah. It just to shed light on how it came about. It starts very small, just like kindling. We have these micro events that'll come up that'll be through something like urban ministries, or will be a family or maybe two families that have come down with some medical emergency, that they've got cancer treatments they can't pay for, and it might be at a bar that they rent out the venue, or it might be at somebody's house, or anywhere that somebody could set up a little area to get donations started, and this word of mouth starts, and it might be something that's like cancer. It might be something celebratory, like somebody that's just coming up and getting their land developed, but they need this one other thing. It comes one or two friends that says, hey.
So community style event that ends up getting so much word that out of nowhere, hundreds, if not 1,000 or 2,000 people end up showing up to this one event, and they bring as much as they can of gifts and whatever they can, and this and that and the other, and it's just hey, we're here to just bring to you, and by the way, there's also a band and also a kitchen full of food, and we're bringing this other thing, and we're going to be here for like the next week or two, so we're also going to bring all this other stuff and help you out with anything we can.
Absolutely. And by the way, did you drop this, and would you like a cold soda? Can I help you set up anything? And that's it. The entire thing is hands free to help. And I've never seen anything like these places when these like-minded folks get together. We had a brother, Tom Fiddler. He would do these amazing wood carvings and be able to run the fire through them. And it was one of those things, fire, one of those universal languages. we've all got to stay warm. We all need to dry off sometimes. And if Tom Piller said, if you got a fire, then you've got a party. And it's an amazing thing when you see these people come from these different places, not just around the state, but around the country, sometimes around the globe. And all that they long to do is to tap in, however briefly, to remember that it is the goodness in the world that keeps us driving. It's that hope, and it's that purity, that true fellowship and camaraderie. It's beyond any kind of institution or any kind of gathering of like-minded, if you were to go religious or political or
Sure.
just I've never seen.
We can go into that here in a minute, because I'm sure we're going to get into that here in a minute. It seems like we're headed in that direction.
Well, what I mean to say is that that the folks that do get out there, it becomes such a number that you would find somebody that's like myself, that's more just falling into different trades and is kind of just kind of cast into whatever I'm feeling free to do at the time, to folks that are nuclear physicists, people that have double PhDs, that have really like buckled down, hyper focused on one thing that they wanted to get really good at, and did that for many years. And the wonderful thing about getting out there, and it's only so many times a year, maybe once a year for some folks, if they even get to make it out once a year. But it's clinically necessary to remember that it's that goodness, that there are other people that just want to be around other people, to have a good, safe, fun time with no qualms, no angles.
You say that, and the thing is, like, I remember when I first came out of going to this event, I was talking about how other people were thanking me for what I considered just being me. Then that was just really weird for me, right? Because, like, for instance, my story was, I'm walking down the hill towards the kitchen, and I saw something on the floor, and I picked it up. It was trash. And I just went nonchalantly, and I saw, a dirty cup, and I picked it up, and I threw away the trash, and I went and grabbed the dirty cup and went and cleaned it. And then I just put it back into the clean section of the cups, for people to get free coffee or whatever. And then some guy came up to me and was like, "Yo, dude, that was really nice of you, bro." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, that's just it just, that's what's natural for me in this space. That's what just feels right, because it's like, I want it to be this kind of sanctuary at all times. And when I see something that's grimy or dirty or like whatever, I'm like, why is that happening here in this place? It doesn't make sense. That doesn't fit here. You know what I mean? It's weird. It's weird.
So, and I've seen folks, be really good about staying behind themselves and trying to get behind somebody else. And then sometimes, folks, we all get a little absent-minded time to time, and it's about getting behind one another and not to like, hey, you missed, get each other down, but just, hey, if you got a chance that you could pick it up, you did just that, and you helped that person. And there's it's one of those simplicities. It's that simple. It's that simple.
It literally is like I always, it always like breaks my mind that you can see time-lapse videos of people for like, I don't know, 8 hours, 10 hours on like this really nasty, filled with trash in the middle of India, like riverbed that's just 3 layers deep of plastic, and people are there cleaning it out like crazy with cranes and everything over an 8-hour, 10-hour period, and it's all done.
Yep.
It all gets cleaned. And it's like, if all of us were to stop doing our other things and actually worked on all the other things, bro, everything would get done really quickly. But we are stuck in this weird fake world of chasing after Bugattis and hot women and shooting guns like 007 and being, some guy. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the rule.
There's that manipulation that's going on, and then we're not getting this connection to this, what we're talking about, which is like, yo, you got to go to the forest, put some mushrooms in your mouth, connect to this thing called the earth for a second, connect to these things called your brothers and sisters for a second, and then come back to this thing called Babylon and try and figure out how you could be resourceful and beautiful enough to share these things with people. You know what I mean? So that you could be like, pew, 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 pew.
And it is that. And I caught myself being really selfish. I was thinking, oh man, wouldn't it be great? I love these folks so much, and I love this experience, and it's so precious. Why can't we just lock the gates and build our own fence, and we'll ship in the animals, and we'll raise our crops, and we've got enough people and know-how, we can make this happen. And it's that time away from each other. It's the daily grind. It's the brouhaha, the traffic, the noise that we travel through to get back to each other when we can, that makes it that much more special. It makes us the individuals that we are. It creates that that availability for it to be a special thing. If I locked it up, it would lose its luster after so long. It might even become political. We might not like each other so much. We need our space. We gotta spread out and we have our things. Home is home. But it does have that very real family vacation, National Lampoon, just happy, joy kind of feel to it, man. It really does.
It really does. So to kind of get into it, so that's kind of now where you are in life. In the last, like, say 4 or 5 years, like you're now mid-20s, early 30s, you're now kind of in this world of going to these events and kind of being a DJ and musician and also psychonaut journeyist and kind of being with people. And it's like the people who have never been involved at all, the people who are kind of involved, and then there's a guy like you who's like, well, it's kind of been my life, so I guess I'm going to help you guys. That kind of thing,
I had this, it was like one of those aha moments, just a ping right on my third. I was like, I had this overwhelming sense. I mean, I started to cry. It was this overwhelming sense of home. Like you'd walked right back into a house that you'd missed for so long, but you'd never known you had before. And that's an amazing thing to be overwhelmed with that kind of joy. And I wish that I could share just that ideal, that practice of getting into a group of people that you can know that is your tribe, and seeking that space out in the world for you, that no matter which way you turn, like you said, that's your brothers and your sisters around you. You need for nothing. Yeah. If you do, all you need to do is ask. Say something, and they are more than happy to help. And that's something that if like you were saying too, we were talking about, if we could piggyback that out into the space outside of these events, and and it become more contagious. And I think it does, honestly. I think for the folks that are really invested in that and have that mindset, that get that recharge when they get out into the woods and they come back home, I can only hope that it is so contagious, the way that it feels for me when I get there and when I leave, that I can be part of a bigger process, that when we come out, we shake it out, we pollinate, the rest of the world in that feeling and in that practice, because that's the way it should be in my eyes. That's the way things should be.
It's weird to me, right? Like, I know Miami's a really big city, right? I get it, but I see like so many little mini events happening everywhere, like all the time in Miami, whether it's an NFT thing or an art thing or a yoga thing, And I guess I see that in most cities, like major big cities. Like you're going to see it in New York, you're going to see it in Miami, you'll see it in Houston. But it's like, I don't know. It's weird. It's a different vibe in Miami. Maybe it's because it's the music or so. I don't know. You know,
man. The coast. I think the coast in general has a different vibe than many other places.
New York is the same thing. Like I said, New York has the same thing. But there's just some cities that don't feel that have that what we're talking about, which is like this. It's a very like burner mentality. Like for those who are like into the burner community, you know, it's like you definitely want to be self-sustaining, but you also want to be able to give to anybody at all times, no matter what. Like, oh, it's my last thing. Don't worry about it, bro. There's a guy coming down with like 5 of them. He's about to give me another one. You know what I mean? And like, you know, and there's a weird thing that happens when you live in that mentality, that everything around you starts living in that mentality. And it's like this like just eye-opening experience where it's like, bro, I have no need for anything, because whatever I need, somebody's either going to offer it to me, or I could just say, does anybody have a la, 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 and then like, oh wait, hold on, yeah, la, la, hold on, and then like 3 people come to you with 4 different types. Like,
yeah. Actually, I've got 2 here.
Weird, it's true.
Yeah, take 2. They're small.
Right. Yeah. So okay. So like that. So that's awesome, bro. That, you know, you didn't take that route of going towards the military and like, because you thought about it at one point. You even were there. You were like, well, I don't know, maybe I'll do that, and that could have turned a totally different life for you. And then.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Well, I mean, it coming up and running around these different city schools and getting kicked out of school and stuff. Like, I was ending up in like gang activity shit, and between that, drug dealing, and really, like I said, just showing my ass. And I've never been a naturally like angry or violent person, but you know, that shit'll make you in a position where you just have to just be tougher and be meaner, and that, yeah, it's just not, that's not me, never has been. So I got away from that shit quickly, and right. as I was in the process of getting away from that altogether, my good brother Jason pulled me aside and said, hey, you need a fucking hobby anyway, matter of fact, and let me get you something else to do here. What else can we talk about? And he and I'd sit down a couple of 40 ounces of Old English and watch the History Channel. And that was tops. I loved it. I'd love to sit down and just debate things, just, you know, pick each other's brains, watch science channel, what have you. But keep it functional, keep it on the up and up. And if you can grow from it, learn from it, and share with each other, and keep conversations going, keep talking to each other. We've lost this sense of like any kind of neighbor anymore. Like, you know, I keep hearing, well, I never locked the doors in my neighborhood growing up, and like a lot of people did kind of grow up in those similar situations. But
it's a different world, you know, in the sense that, you know, getting into that whole thing, we're getting into like, you know, like I said, we're getting into like the manipulation of the whole social norms of what is distinctively okay and not okay, and you know, and then it leads to where we're at today in what's going on with Israel. I know that that's like a huge phew, but it's not, because
it's not.
It leads to the last thing, which is like, you either accept that Jewish people are not the tyrannical mastermind characters of the world that are trying to destroy something. And this whole the Palestinian Philistines thing connection is not real, but people want to like throw out there as much as they can about all these connections with the Romans calling the Palestine.
It's a black swan.
It becomes this epic, monstrous bubble of like,
They muddy the
And
waters so that they don't have to, so that nobody can see what the truth is clearly. They make it a bigger mess than it needs to be. And not saying that it's perfectly black and white, but they make it such a mess that the lines are so blurred, they don't even know what the truth is by the time it's all said and done. And the ones that do say they know what the truth is, those are the folks that are getting strokes in their sleep. They're getting voted out of office. Their bank accounts are getting closed down until they're
like
just ready to,
like always, like always.
they're just ready to stop talking about it. They'll just shut it down.
Yeah, and that's the part that saddens me the most, because the only way that happens is as if there are others who are towing the line to that idea.
Yep.
And it's the people who are in our lives who are I think it's 1 or 10% of the American population have some kind of secret clearance to the government in some way, shape, or form, or something like that. You know what I mean? And so
that's an extremely low number.
If there's 365 million people, that means there's 360,000 people in the United States that have security clearance of some sort.
Yeah, man, that's still insanely low. Like the White House used to be the people's house. The president used to have barbecues on the front yard and would talk with people. And now all we get is when they could slap him in his next suit, put him in front of a camera and say, read this. We don't ever hear what anybody has to say anymore. We get hear what they're told to say anymore. And when is the last time we did hear the truth? We're so desensitized and so jaded by all this bullshit for so many decades that, I mean, it's gonna take a massive shift and a lot of healing for us to ever believe that what's going on is what's going on, and we're not going to find out that it's bullshit 50 years down the road when it's declassified or whatever. Just long enough for us to die off a generation or two. So what does it matter anyway? The damage is done.
Right. I mean, the damage is happening as we're speaking, and it's not just Palestine, Israel. It's the entirety of the world right now.
And it hurts my heart.
Not just because of Palestine and Israel. That's the last straw. That's the last straw on the camel's back thing. There's so much that's trauma based that's happening right now in the world that everybody wants to point. Hold on. Everybody wants to point a finger at the trauma or the drama, but they don't want to point a finger at themselves, once again, for towing the line. They're towing the line. And then when you say that to them, they're like, don't say that to me. I'm not them. I would never do that. But on one level, in some way in your life, I'm doing it. You and I are doing it. We're using the system right now to try to tell a story about our belief system, which is you see what I'm saying? Talking heads, yelling and screaming, and just trying to be like, yo, dude, we just want to be positive, beautiful people. Like, we don't even know what to do. I'm in the corner praying yesterday after what I saw, even freaking 5 minutes of watching videos of what's going on.
It hurts. It hurts my heart.
Oh my God, dude, the things I saw in videos that they're allow on national television and international television, bro, the stuff that they're showing people, the children, my God, bro, come on, man. What are we doing to ourselves, brother?
It's
not even just that. Not even just that, just in general. Just, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's and the fact that none of us stop, the fact that none of us are like, whoa, wait, seriously, wait, because this is stop. Not just you and me, but everybody. Stop. What the? Hiya, dude. Like, what's going on here, bro? Just straight up. Like, how has that not happened yet? At this point, I mean, I can understand that the knowledge level of the world is at this massive kind of thing like this, where there's only so many people who are really, really smart, and the rest of them don't know. And I mean that is like third world, second. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm not trying to be rude.
I know.
I'm just being real about the world. If you went to like somewhere in, I don't know, Africa, or somewhere in South America, India, somewhere in Indochina, and you were to talk to those people and you're like, hey, on your daily basis, do you know that throwing trash into the river is not a good thing? They'd be like, really? I shit and piss in there every day. I also throw my trash in there and I wash myself on the weekends. It's like, you do what? And so you and I might know what these things are, and we think of it as every day, like an everyday thing. Oh, if my water is dirty, I can put a little chlorine, and so much of it won't bother my body. They don't know that shit.
And I've touched on similar aspects that we get to have these ways of thinking. We are able to have this perspective where, and it's because we're so rich in the country that we do have, then we're about to shit the bed. We're about to shit the bed, but we have such richness in our in what freedoms, if you want to call it, that we do have, that we can even speak freely to this level, that we would even be able to have this idea that we weren't indoctrined with something that was completely different, not for lack of trying, but that we aren't completely just washed out and completely censored to the point that we can't talk to each other without living in complete fear. And that's not to say that there's some folks that, touch on a lot of these topics, and depending on how deep you get into them, might draw a little bit of paranoia out of them, depending on, how they're feeling about the severity or seriousness of the topic they're discussing, or, what they might actually know if they're going to fear the whistleblower or something of that nature. And we're entering that. We're entering this like McCarthy type state again, when we were like, are you a communist? What kind of books do you read? Do you have your papers with you? It's getting dicey again, and it's
so. I mentioned this the other day. I don't know if it was you or if it was on another pod that I was doing, but I said to somebody, like, have you ever watched from on YouTube, one of those give me a 5-minute documentary or a 10-minute documentary on the entirety of the Roman times, from how many times it came up and down, how it came up and down, and the way that things happened, bro. There's so many similarities. I mean, almost gameplay to what is going on right now with the border crisis, with all of these things, with the socialism encroachment. It's absolutely how do people not? Did you say you went to college? You say you learned what I'm seeing.
You don't see what I'm seeing.
I'm just like, how do you not know this? How did you not? And then I say things, or I write stuff on Facebook or something, or I write a response to somebody on a we're here for the people of the Palestine, of Palestine, and I'm like, who's from Palestine? And they're like, I can't believe you would say that. And I'm like, bro, look, the country's not even accepted by its own people. Most Muslim countries don't accept it. The UN doesn't accept it. The Jewish people in 67 or whatever, after the first and second, they gave land to the people and gave space and said, here. And they didn't do anything with money given to them.
But
what happens is terror, bro. Terror takes over people's lives, bro.
They drive that fear machine.
And it's not just, and this is what I was saying when I made my video the other day, where I was like, it's Israel against the world. It's not so much Israel. It's like, do you accept terrorism in people's lives, period? Or do you not accept terrorism in people's lives, period? That's it. And now, are there terrorists on both sides? There's people who are blah, 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 blah. No. yes, of course there's going to be fucking this or that or the other. Why? Because we're leading with the idea. And this is the unfortunate one. Here's the most unfortunate thing. We're leading with the idea that we have to have guns because somebody else has the guns, so you should have the guns. Not because you want the guns, but because you have no choice, because other people have the guns. And so you say to yourself, oh, that's the genius of this whole idea of America. I get to speak my truth. I get to have a gun, and I get to protect myself when someone comes to me with their gun instead of their words. Oh, I get it. But then we're getting manipulated into not being able to use our words because words hurt people. Instead of words are used to show who people are. You use your own intellect to look at somebody and go, oh, I get it. This guy's poop. You agree with me? Do you agree with me? These people agree that you're poopy cuckoo. You know? The rest of us
we can't have open conversations or discussions about anything that is not remotely sensitive. We can't have a conversation about anything because it's going to be hypersensitive to somebody somewhere. It's got to be politically correct. Oh, well, if you're not politically correct, well, then you've got to be associated. Then your dialogue is going to be categorically canceled in the public eye, and I'm just sitting here trying to have a fucking cup of coffee and talk to my buddy, and somebody from table 9 looks at me and says, I can't believe you would say that shit. Stay the fuck in your own lane. Mind your own business. People are so worried about censoring each other now anymore. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And let's just take a break really quickly just to mention, right? I want to say thank you for everybody who's watching. We are right now streaming on 8 different places all over the internet. We're on Twitch, we're on LinkedIn, we're on YouTube Live, Facebook profile of myself, which is Paul David Carpenter, also known as Mentally Hip. You can go to Mentally Hip Fan, also on Twitch, Mentally Hip Fan 1. And my God, thank you once again for being here. But for anybody who's out there, I want to let you know we're super excited to be here today and thankful to having everybody here. And I want to mention that because we're on so many platforms. I mean, we're even on LinkedIn right now. That I can only imagine the people who are scrolling on LinkedIn right now, who then stop on this for a second, and they're like, FDFF this and FDFF that corporate America, and they're just like, whoa.
Not safe for work. We got an NSFW for this one.
These people should not. And then there's that one guy who's like scrolling through, who's like a marketing guy, and he's like, oh, these people are genius. Yeah. We must promote.
Looking over. Yeah, that's amazing that we that you got this set up though, man. I'm really thoroughly impressed with what work you've done, and I appreciate you getting these talks out there, because it's these conversations that really keep that drive going. It's part of that pollinating process, like I was talking about when we come back home with these things. It's a feel. It's an energy field. It's a very potent knowledge.
Knowing.
It's a potent knowledge. Exactly. Yeah, it's a potent knowledge, and where words fail, I see where they don't right here. I see where action and words take place, and this design you've got going on this 365 run, man. I think it's a great way to really come out with your best head forward, just to even try to put what experience you had out there on your first time into words, because words have failed me entirely when I try to explain the beauty of how simple it can be when we come together and when we keep talking and when we keep sharing and we keep not just like charity hands out, but hands up. When we lift each other up and we get behind each other, when we wash each other's cups, you know, when we just a simple gesture can mean so much in the grand scheme of things when everybody does it. It really adds up. It adds up to a lot. And this right here, I've got faith. I already know, I feel it, that this right here is going to be something that makes change. It's going to be something that brings about another fresh coat of that deep knowledge for us to continue sharing. And I'm appreciative to be a part of it. And for everybody that's watching, I hope that you also share this with your friends and family, loved ones. I know I have. It's really a special thing that you've got created here.
I like the reason that I was really happy about it being like recorded this way. I wanted it to be very like raw and not inside of a studio. And I like this background. Don't get me wrong. Like I was the one who got to do all of the like placements of everything in this room. So nice. I really like the setup, and it's cool, and everything like that. But it wasn't necessarily what I was intending on anything. You know, I was just, I don't know. I just wanted to do exactly this, just have conversations with people about who they are and what their life is about. And what I've learned through the process of doing it is that, you know, they say like, everybody's got a story, but it's like, whoa, everybody's got a story. And it's like super heavy, like, whoa, everybody's got a story, you know? And it's like, yeah, man. And that's really powerful.
We were missing 2 years out there in the woods together, and it was so heavy coming back in after COVID. Back into the woods, there was a lot of folks didn't make it back out there. A lot of folks that had a lot of loss, whether it be death in the family or death of a business or death of an animal, or just like there was just a lot of major shifts in everybody's life. So those first couple of trips back out there, man, everybody was doing their best to just hold each other up, you know, hold each other again and being appreciative and gratitude. But it was unavoidable to kind of trauma dump on one another. And that's part of it too, is to just have somebody, not somebody, but a body that is it is an organism. The entire group of friends and family out at these places is an organism that is there to help you coexist. It's there to help you to do and to do better. And it's a very self-aware, self-affirming thing. Yeah, that's I think that's what I'm looking for there. It's it brings forward that goodness and reminds you that it's right there. Like you said, it's that deep knowledge.
It's really weird. Like I said, it makes you feel good about being yourself.
Yeah.
It's like it's so welcoming. Everybody is so themselves that you immediately want to like be yourself in some way that shows like, oh, this is who I am and this is what I do, and like I want to share that with you, and all of a sudden once again it becomes this very contagious effort from everyone where yeah.
So I was gonna say it's the most it's the least egotistical, but it'll brush your ego up too. But it's peacocking. It's like spiritual peacocking. You know, just your feathers are out, and they want to see you shine, man. And you love to see you shine. You know, when you're feeling good, you're looking good, feeling good, kind of thing. And it shows. It shows all over you. It shows your character just begins to shine. That veil, that little bit of ego or what is the
connection, man, with your source.
that world illusion just fades away off of everybody, man, and you just see the spirit. You just see a person, a whole person usually. Yeah, what I'm getting, you see a whole person again, and very refreshing, very refreshing.
Yeah, 100%. I totally, you see what you're saying, and you're right. It is that. It's this really beautiful thing where you don't find many, other than like maybe some like very, very small amounts of it, but you don't find many people who are not like aware of their surroundings, and also you don't find many people who are not very aware of themselves in these events. And so in turn, you start to understand what being aware of yourself is, because you see it everywhere around you, and then you're like, oh, that's what being aware is. It's not that hard after all. It's just really connecting to the thing that you like to do, and just do that like, but like really hardcore, and then that's it. And it's like, because I met a couple people, you know, throughout this event, and what's this kid's name? The guitarist, gray hair. I played soccer with him. He played at the boat.
Okay, I know who you're talking about. I don't remember his name, but I do remember.
Yeah, I don't even want to say his name, really, honestly. But we know who we're talking about. And so that gentleman is like this amazing spirit of just being that thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just going to be around and just go do that thing. Yeah. He embodies the embodiment of being like a minstrel on a level that I've never seen before, you know, like full on, like just from the moment he wakes up to the moment he goes to sleep, except for when he's eating and except for when he's like going to the bathroom or drinking something, he's playing music.
Yep. And like, at every corner, it's like everybody is each other's muse out there. Let me see your creativity. Let me see you shine. What are you up to? You know, just like you helping me straighten it out. And, you know, digging some of my bio, my personality. Let me see you shine. Tell me about yourself. What do you like to do? And that drive for that creativity and that real sense of self, that adventure and that creativity, that imagination, that a lot of the stuff out on the other side of that gate tries to damp down and kill off.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
I want to be more active in the function and facilitating of these types of events. Being fortunate enough to start off much younger in some of them, I had plenty of time to really just indulge and grow and flower out and make my laps around. And the older that I've gotten and the more that I attend, I've grown a deeper desire to develop stations like these kitchens, to set up a bar, to set up an acoustic stage. Spent a great amount of time doing stagehand things to take a little weight off the musicians that have been playing long enough for us, man. You know, those PA systems don't get any lighter. But to help be part of the process and have a great appreciation just for that, it's not taking away from my experience to be part of it. It's enhancing it more and more each time I go back to do it. And it's really really enriching. It's empowering for so many different reasons, and it's one of those learning places too. You can learn from so many different people out there, whether it be their profession or their hobby or just them and their life experience. It's a beautiful school. And I want to learn more.
It's the thing that I got I really enjoyed was the whole thing that you just went through was the fact that, like, if you saw somebody doing something and they were, even if they weren't struggling, you just wanted to go, oh, hey, let me, oh, here, I got that. Okay, good, yeah, you get the other side, like, just immediately, it was everywhere at all times. And it's like, so there's never a need for anyone to feel as though they need. Once again, I said that earlier, but it's really a truth to that, to a testament to that kind of that mentality. And it's like, where is that now with my neighbor? Like, I don't even know my neighbor. Like, where is that with my neighbor though? Like, how is it that I haven't knocked on my neighbor's door? Like, I know my neighbors here. I've spoken to them already, and I've already connected, and I've only lived here like 2 weeks, but that's me. I'm like, hi, I'm your neighbor. Let's hang out,
I've never met a stranger. That's part of my character. Just, hey, how you doing? This is me, and pleased to meet you. If you got some more of you'd like to tell me about, or need help with anything, please, I'm open, and I'll be happy to talk your ears off.
Right. I'd like to mention, for those of you who are watching, if you're watching on any other channel or whatever channel you are, please make a comment or like while you're watching right now. I want to see if those comments are coming through. And if they're not coming through and you're watching on my normal Facebook profile, try the Facebook fan page, which is Mentally Hip FAN, all one word. And that should pop up the second page, which looks just like the first page. And click on that and watch it there and try to make a comment on that feed. I don't know, but I do want to see your comments. I do want to see if anybody's writing anything, because I can't see it. So I just wanted to throw that out there, and let's get back to this now. What are your feelings and thoughts of, like, what do you think's happening, like, in the world today? Like, it specifically, not so much about what, like, what's going on in Israel again, but just the energy and the vibe and the thing. What does that tell you?
I think that there's a good shift coming, and I use the term good fairly loosely in this specific instance. It's and I only mean that in proportion. There's going to be a large shift. I feel that this there's a lot of different terminology to it. There's some people are thinking of it as an awakening. There's this woke concept. There's and you can put any kind of urban dictionary or new slang or whatever you'd like to put to it. But really, I think it's just folks are becoming so rattled by, like what you had mentioned before, seeing on the news, the same type of shock that was coming across TV screens back in the Vietnam War. We saw a great deal of the aftershock in our military when they got back home, but I think that between Desert Storm and then Desert Storm 2.0 and then Desert Storm 3, just keep going back into the Middle East kind of thing, that now that we've got this refresh on this new war stance here, and then we've got AI and technology and all of this taking off in this grand direction here. We've got our mineral and our richer resources taking different shifts. We're recategorizing what precious metals we need most for these drives to make the next thing. And spiritually, I can't swear to the numbers, but I've seen that there are different religious institutions that are seeing either growths or drops and greater shifts in their attendance numbers. I think that we're in a space that's very very volatile, very sensitive area, and that's one of the reasons why we get these like uproars of political dissonance, whether it be what was that? I believe it was in South America. There was a coup that just recently took place, and it's very active. And I don't mean to keep doubling back to the political thing, but it's because of that's where the resources and the foods and the rest of that community is going to be controlled at that angle. But if that doesn't say anything, that these are still becoming more prominent, more frequent. I think that people are very scared. They're nervous, and they don't know what to be nervous about anymore, because they're being misled every different turn, which is creating a much more dangerous atmosphere. When you've got a wild animal that feels like it's backed into a corner, but it doesn't know where the corner is, that's a really fucking dangerous place for anybody to be, whether it be psychologically or physically, because they're being displaced of political asylum seekers, or people that can't deal with the way that the housing markets are shifting now, and they're uprooting these large homeless communities and shifting them everywhere. And we've got cameras everywhere now, so the word's getting out like that, where it didn't used to be like that. But now everybody's got cell phone, everybody's got YouTube, everybody's got these social media sites. So we're seeing a lot more of it more readily. Not saying that it's just happening a lot now. It's happened a lot before in the past too, but we are now much more directly exposed to it.
Right.
And I think that I'm hoping that we are going to use this momentum, this anxiety, to energize a positive shift into regaining what it means to be a human again, a whole person, and be able to express ourselves freely, to retake our neighborhoods and be able to knock on each other's door and offer each other a cup of sugar, not having to ask to borrow it. Things that are already really available to us, but a lot of folks are again shell shocked. They're timid. We don't know how to start a conversation with each other because we don't want to say the wrong thing. And I'm hoping that we get a big polar bear of some type. You know how much a polar bear weighs? Enough to break the ice. And I'd like this, for some of that stagnant, some of that real timid energy to just, for lack of better pun, just melt away.
Right.
It's a real frigid and angsty environment that I sense a lot of folks are walking around in, and I hate that for them, because the world can be, as we know, in however small a microcosm, it can be a very warm, very giving, very supportive place, and it's easy to get discouraged when everything on the news is the next school shooting or the next war, the next this, the next that, and we're waiting on the next shoe to drop. And meanwhile, we're trying to worry about how we're going to pay the bills and do this, that. And I hate that picture has been painted all around us, and we're the ones, really holding the canvas.
Right.
And we got to be able to take that power, take that appreciation back, and say, this is my canvas, and I'm gonna paint it how I want it, and do so respectfully, do so with love. Let love win, because it's going to win. Might as well just let love win.
Right. Yeah. I think that's the unfortunately, it's like right now, what we're considering love and what we're considering freedom are like by proxy ideas of the idea.
Yeah.
Like when I say, "Oh, I'm free in the United States," freedom. I'm not really free in the United States. Sure, I'm free, and I have all this, and I can do all this stuff.
Unleashed by the American government.
But just like this. Just like this, like I don't see like I definitely can see that something like this that would get a lot of traction I would get like demonized by the normal media in a heartbeat.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
so I've been thinking about like sponsorships, right? So I'm trying to find in my head some really crazy people who are down for some crazy sponsorships that are willing to go like, yo, dude, I'm down because I see what you're doing here. And like, and you're doing like the real talk and you're like doing it live. So they can't really stop you. And if they do stop you here, you're just going to go live over here anyways, you know? So it's just like, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop doing this thing, this idea, this build, no matter how much people want to kill it. Now, there's been some messages that have been coming through, which is very cool, and I want to say thank you. So, where did they go? There we go. Let's see. At the beginning, it was. Oh, here they are. There they go. So Paul came in, and new real start says, "So glad to hear another great podcast." These are all obviously coming from YouTube. So she's or he is watching on YouTube, and those are coming in quite beautifully, and saying, "I don't believe you're seeing the Facebook podcast or comments." And there are some comments coming in from Facebook, but I don't believe they're coming off of my regular profile. I think they're coming off of my fan page, which is, I don't know. And then we're also on a Twitch, and we're also on LinkedIn. So I would love to find out if those are even working. And we're also on my other group called Best Magic Videos that has about 35,000 followers on it. But obviously, I don't think it's working because there would be more than 2 or 3 people bouncing in and out. It would, be at least 10 or 20 coming in and out every once in a while because they.
I do have another device. If you like, I could activate it while we're on here, and we could.
No. I don't think that would make too much of a difference. I mean, it might, but I doubt that it would make that much of a difference. Right. I think to do something like that, you would probably need about 20 devices. Where if you were to put 20 different devices that have 20 different accounts on it, and they all were to watch live, that would immediately hit the algorithm, and then that would bounce out to 20 or 40 more people, and then those would be just latcher-ons to the first 20 or whatever you had. You could do that if you really want to go, like you want to blow up on a social media feed.
I just meant to like if I had my laptop here, I could bring up my Facebook page and see the comments active from.
Oh yeah, do that, man. Yeah, if you want to do that.
Just 1 sec, I'll grab that and I'll be right back. Give me 1 second.
Oh, okay, let's go. Hello, it's Chris, Spice Knight. Hi, Chris. Thank you for this new platform. Here with you on YouTube since I realized you're not seeing the Facebook comments. Oh my God, Chris, thank you so much. Chris is the one who, see, look, I just got one from Facebook, and this is Martin Amadeus Pierce, good friend of mine from Houston, Texas, Clear Lake area, but has moved ever since, and he always writes disc golf. And he's been doing that for years. And it's because he got into disc golf years ago, and that was his thing. And it's always been beautiful. I love that that it's been there. And then okay? So we'll put that up here. Boom, disc golf. So here we'll do this we'll do the big size. Bam. Bam! That's Martin right there. That's his kid.
That's his disc golf. There we go.
Yeah, it's really cool. Like you can do all these different things here. Like you can make it block. You can minimal. You can then do this classic theme, which makes it a little bit bigger, which I think is kind of cool. I like that it gives like a whole thing in a picture, and it's fun. And then there's other things you can put in, like banners, like this is an example of a banner like that. You can write little things, and then I think something else you can do is you can create. You can do brands, and you can put in a logo in the top right corner, like it says right now on the other side. I don't know if you see that or not. You can also do the what's in the words, and you can change the colors, and it's cool, man. It's got a whole little thing going on for itself. You can even say, look, it's powered by StreamYard, and there's the logo changes over there. So I guess if people were to give me their logos or their whatever, I'm sure I could pop that in and throw those into the their logo and show the logo to the top right and promote them. So that could happen, you know. Also, I can obviously, because I'm on my phone, I can just use this this setup and be able to, if I take this off, you know, I could probably, you know, walk around and do a whole video. We're coming back. I could probably do like a walk around. Let's see if I could, if it'll keep up. You know, yeah. So I could probably do like a full-on 24-hour live stream if I wanted to go crazy, you know, and be like Fousey Tube and run around New Orleans. Maybe do like a road trip and like and then carry one of those like internet like things that like relay boxes that you can buy that are, you know, whatever, you know what I'm talking about, right? And then keep your phone plugged in at all times so it's like constantly being charged. And then like you're running around the streets and you're trying to, I'll do it. Let's go for it. I'm in. All right, so back to the comments, because comments were coming through.
Yes, sir.
Please post all of your platforms on the banner as we can see it on all platforms. Oh, she's smart. So let's do that. Let's delete. See it on all platforms. Oh, she's smart. Oh, it's working.
Here we go.
A banner. All right. Here we go. I don't know if it's, you know what, here, I'm going to do this so I can make myself feel better about this. I'll turn off my camera.
I've got,
I'll stay with you so we can, and then that way I can type and create a banner of where to follow me. So let's see. I think the best place would probably be, well, let's just do all of them, right?
Daniel Valadares on here says trading is much more effective than buying. I think that was when we were talking about just that bartering system that tends to take place beyond cash at events in the woods. And that's absolutely true. But thank you, Daniel, for commenting on our interview in here. I think it only showing real-time comments. Here we go. I'm not sure how to navigate these. Let's see.
I don't know if I'm doing this right. I'm trying to. Oh, look, I can put it on as a ticker. That's kind of cool. Look at this. There you go. The Facebook.com/. I'm going to make another one now. This is great. I feel all smartsies. Let's do that. And then let's see, that would be this is I'm so excited about this whole thing with all this extra stuff that can be done, you know.
Yes,
it's very cool. This is the extra stuff that can be done. And then there's the I don't know, how do you make that a ticker though? I want to make that a ticker. How did I do that last time?
How did I do that?
Uh-oh, it went away. Oh, it's a scroll at the bottom right there. It's very simple. It's a button. You just push it.
Oh.
Yeah, and then you can write whatever you want. Yeah, it's pretty simple, actually.
Let's see. I've got on Facebook here, I've got Daniel Valadares again is towards the beginning of our talk today. Said, we get lost in Babylon. We should get lost in the forest. I love it when I do. I really feel much more connected to this earth. If you're really out there, you can hear the earth breathing. And that's Gaia right there. Absolutely.
100%. Yep. So I got to find a way to be able to put like all of these together, and it's not, you know, whatever. Or I get it. Here, I know what I'm going to do here. We'll just go to this one. I'll edit it. And while that one's playing, we'll make this one right there. Oh, there you go. See, you can go to two different places, either youtube.com/Paul David Carpenter or facebook.com/mentally hip. But you can also go one step further and say mentally hip FAN, and you can go there. And then I got a bunch of comments coming in right now. Lando Martin is here. He goes, "Let's go, my boy Joseph Magyar." That's you, I'm guessing, right, Jim?
Yeah, you got me.
Yeah. And he's also says here. He goes, "Tell them the truth. Bring them my. Thank you for Paul for bringing my brother on. Let's keep this convo going." Awesome, I'm loving it, man. I'm actually really totally enjoying this, and I'm coming back on now. Just wanted to fix things, make all these things nice. Those are just two of the places where you can catch the show. If you also want, pretty much use either the Paul David Carpenter or the Mentally Hip on any site, and you will find it. I believe my LinkedIn is Paul David Carpenter. I believe and if it's not, then it's Mentally Hip. I believe the Twitch is Mentally Hip 1. If you want to find us on Twitch. Where else are we? We're on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook. I should be on my profile, which is Mentally Hip. The fan page, it should be also on Best Magic Videos. If you're not on that group, that's where I post every dope magic video I can find in the world. And now I'm going to be posting this. There you are. Oh, look. Chris says, "I got you on Facebook, Paul Carpenter, not catching the mentally hip." I don't know what that means. Chris says, "I got you on the Facebook, Paul Carpenter, on the Paul Carpenter, which I believe is my regular fan page, but not on the Paul David Carpenter, which is my regular big page that has all the big following," which makes me wondering if that's even posted there right now.
Do you have a Discord?
This is Paul. Hopefully I'll be able to meet you in the woods one day, my friend Landon. It is going to be a for sure thing. Me and this gentleman were actually talking just the other day about trying to get more of me in the circuit because I want to start doing my hypnosis shows. And I feel like that would be a really cool place to kind of do it and create some fun times and some good energy, and also be able to put myself in the same place as a spiritual guide and healer, and because I've done so much psychonaut journeys as well, and all of that, and so it just places you in that position of wanting to be help for others, as we were talking about earlier. Chris Spice Knight says 100. Ding, 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 pew, 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 pew. I'm loving that we're getting all these things in. I'm super thankful for everybody doing so. Look at that. We got Chris there. I love how it just boom, and then I wonder if I turn that back off, it comes back in. Yeah, look at that. That's so good. So, cool. So that means that the Mentally Hip. If you look up facebook.com/mentally hip and you leave messages there, those will not go through. Is that right, Chris? If you can say a yes or a no onto that answer. And if that's the case, then I'll go change the banner. Smart guy over here. So let's go change that. If that's the case, then that could be changed quite quickly. And I believe that that's the case from what she said to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and just change it because I believe that that's what it is. And save it. Save it. How do you save it?
Did you say you do have a Discord?
Do I have a Discord for me? No. Okay. And I don't really like Discord. If I would do anything, I would do Telegram. I think that's a much easier platform to run.
I've only just used it maybe once or twice, meeting up with the guys doing late night video game chats, just having a couple beers, talking over video. But I don't utilize it. I didn't know if that was a platform that you like.
I just Discord's just too heavy for me, man. When you go in there, the user interface is a little overloaded for me. With like because I follow a bunch of stuff, especially with my old account. I was following like, I don't know, 100 some odd plus Discords. So on top of that, there's that plus private messages, plus the Discord itself with every little subsection and intro and the welcome and the thank you and then the group chat and then the one chat and then the private chat and then the one video, one weekly chat and then the hey, we're also doing competitions, and it's just like God, I get it, but a little like slow it back and pull it back and just chill for a moment,
Yeah, I only got on there, like I said, maybe once, twice to talk with the guys, but when it should have been just what I would think, just kind of sign on and then click on the room. The thing has like list upon a list with another drop bar to another drop bar that's like 10 different chat rooms, and I was just trying to go on there and say hey to the guys, but.
And then you're like lost within a world called Discord going, where am I doing, bro? Where am I going?
Send a text back to the group chat, just like, I'll see you guys later. It's not working.
Yeah, and that's the reason I don't use it, because of that, because it's so, it has such a hard learning curve, and I get it, and I use it. It's on my phone. But I also have Telegram. I also have Kick. I also have Kick, the platform, which is two different Kicks.
When I first developed Kick, I was running beta. Kick was wild because I had not. There was Kick and there was one before it that I had on one of the first Android platforms, like when they had the Motorola Droid.
Yeah, it's called Kick and it's KIK.
Yeah.
And that still exists. It still exists. I have it on my phone. I still use it.
Yeah, there was another one. It was like orange in color, the icon. I can't remember the name of it. Anyhow, it was still running like beta versions. And a friend of mine, I was on the phone with him, and I was going to tell him to say hello. I was talking to him on video. I was going to tell him to say hello to the guy coming through the door. So I turned the phone around, and the ice outside with the tile inside the doorway, he slips and falls. And I followed him with the camera. And the guy on the phone starts laughing, and it dawned on me. I was like, you just saw all that in real time. I'd never had a video chat, until that, in my hand up until that moment. I was like, man, that's wild. Just like, you're right here hanging out with us. Yeah.
Right. And and going back to what I was saying earlier, that's what this was all about. I wanted to have this to be something where people would shoot it on their phone. Like, I love the fact that Chris has been able to sponsor me and the show. And anyone who out there who wants to sponsor, I'm looking for 5 big sponsors. So if you know anybody who knows anybody who knows anybody who knows anybody who knows anybody, you know what I'm talking about. 365 podcasts with their name posted all over the thing with their logo in the corner during the show, repeatedly, plus 5 commercials, 30 seconds a piece with a code that sells, their product. And that, I think, plus this, plus some advertising, plus what I'm doing, bro, this will blow up. I don't care who you are. I know for a fact it will. There's no question about it in my mind, like, at all. So if I get even one big sponsor, I'll just spend a ton of money on advertising and promoting this as a live feed. And dude, we'll have hundreds of people in here spamming comments and saying all kinds of crazy stuff. And, it'll be great.
Yeah, we gotta have haters. Gotta have the haters.
Yeah, but no, I see that happening very quickly.
You're gonna stop at 5 big sponsors. You'll have like maybe credits at the end of the show or something. Some like smaller sponsors maybe down the road.
No, so the whole build, I'll tell you the whole build in my mind. I started telling it yesterday, but the whole build in my mind is this. So it starts off with 5 big sponsors, $250,000, very simple. $50K for somebody who's like a manager, handler, a person, because at that point I'm just going to be like all over the place, right? The next thing would be like $50K towards camera operator, $50K towards camera equipment and stuff that you would need, whatever. right? With a residual, with more than enough laid over, because you don't need to spend that much money on a travel equipment pack, maybe 20K tops. 30 if you want some stupid lenses, but that's a whole other story. And including lighting and sound for 30K. That's an amazing setup for, especially a backpack travel pack. If I gave that to a guy and I gave that guy also 50K for the year, he'd be like so over the moon, you know, he wouldn't know what to do with himself. And a computer to edit on, whatever. That's the point. So that's where all that goes. Then at 50K towards travel, 50K towards your travel expenses, all the other whatever, and then 50 towards myself as a payment, and there's your 250. And then you have, you know, you're ready, you're able to now travel, you can make the show anywhere. I can then do this next portion of the thing, which is, over the years I've been doing Google, and on Google I have a level 7. And so it's a level 7 out of 10. And when you get that high, you're called a local guide. And when you get that high, if you review someplace, your review goes first. And if your review goes first, it also gets like the most views on the photos that you post. So I've luckily somehow, some years ago, posted one picture of a place and it got 4.5 million views. So now what happens, for some weird reason, algorithm, YouTube, I don't get it. If I do a review, I can guarantee 10,000 views in about a week or two on your business. Like it's undeniable. I could, like, over and over and over and over. I've been testing it just to see, and I have this one place that I've been having a fight with over here recently that I was like, yo, dude, I want to come and do a Google review, and I want you on my podcast. And the guy said no. And so now I almost want to podcast bomb him.
Yeah, well, we'll
show up with my podcast. Yo, what's up? It's Paul Carpenter. We're in blah blah blah. You know, in the middle of like New Orleans. Let's see what this place is really all about. You know,
John Tapper on him.
Yeah, right. And then like full on go hardcore with like a Google review of the place. And then when I'm done, actually make a Google review and then post the video that's a live feed to the Google review. So that just like full on destroys, you know, and then on top of that, you're advertising behind it, and you know what I'm saying. But I think that if it was a promoted concept aspect, where a business was like, yo, I want to get promoted like that, I will pay you 5K, 10K to come and, you know, you're going to spend like $2,000 on advertising, plus you're going to come fly out, you're going to do the whole thing. Yeah, fuck, I'll pay you 10K. You're going to give me an awesome 2-hour video of my location, my food, the people in my staff, everything, and get a vibe, plus maybe interview the owner. Hello. You know what I mean? Like, that works in my book. That works. And so, yeah, then post a badass Google review based on what you get, you know? Yeah. And so maybe they have to be vetted before you go, because you don't want to go and give a bad review.
I was wondering what that meant, because I've seen that.
You gotta be honest, bro, because if not, then that would suck, you know? Oh, this place is awesome. Go to the China buffet on I-49 in Bunkertown. I'm saying whatever. They paid me 10 grand. Ding! You know, like, you can't do that either, bro. You know what I mean?
I've seen that same similar badge, if you will, pop up on my Google account for whatever particular location, what have you. But I didn't ever follow up to figure out what it was about. But do you remember an app? It was an app called Foursquare, and it was like a GPS check-in kind of thing. But if you checked in at say a restaurant or a shopping center, and you did this X amount of times, now you have to be in GPS proximity of this business location to check in, and they would award you badges, and you could become the mayor of this location, and you would be awarded coupons for purchases at said location. You could give, you would be the highest rate comments, and you would be asked to supply pictures and things like that to keep up to date and to keep that badge. The only way that you could be relinquished of your mayorship is if somebody went to that location, and you can only check in, I think, once or twice a day at the most. So they would have to go and visit enough times to outnumber yours more frequently. They would take that membership. But
what is that? What platform is that? Because I remember that. I remember seeing something about that.
It was called Foursquare.
It was Foursquare. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I have not even checked up to see if that's still a thing. I would imagine it would be, because it was really, it was really effective in the sense that, like, it was giving out very exclusive coupons, and it was drawing a crowd, if nothing else, than competitive, braggers' rights.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, that's like the whole thing, it's who can retain the most eyeballs for the longest amount of time makes the most money. And I think that's why Elon Musk converted Twitter to X. I think he's trying to create the first, wee-woo app that's like the everything app, where you go for chat, you go for news, you go for, oh, I have to pay for something. Oh, wee-woo, beep, beep. Like Apple Pay. Like Apple's doing it hardcore. Apple's on it on every single level. They've got your phone, they've got your watch, they've got your pay, they've got your music, they've got it all. Like, Apple has definitely been the American version of WeWoo as much as possible, because there's nothing else that we have other than Facebook that kind of comes close. But, there's no Facebook money yet. There's no, Facebook gaming, like a real gaming. There's like the fake, there's the and I guess they're kind of connected. They have some stuff, the WSL or whatever on your phone.
They got the metaverse, taking over all of that for video games.
Right. Yeah, but of course they want to do it on all levels. They would want to do it everywhere. If they're looking at, like, metaverse, right, when you look at what it really means, is like just every way of connecting, and having all of those ways of connecting in one locational place. So, if I may, you would be able to have a Tamagotchi pet while you're in the metaverse, while you're in whatever world you want to be in, because the Tamagotchi pet is something that you carry around with you, right? So that's just one version. Then the next would be like a computer, and like you could carry your own computer into a metaverse and go to different places, and then be like playing on your laptop inside of a metaverse.
Yeah.
That could happen as well, where now you're dressed up as like Humpty Dumpty, you sat on a wall, but instead you're sitting there with your laptop and you don't know how to fall.
Real currency to pay for these digital spaces, which is beyond me. I know the storage itself takes up a certain amount of room, and you got to be able to pay for that. But they're using actual currency to buy, say, a dresser. You want a dresser in your metaverse house, or it doesn't have to necessarily be meta, but a lot of these virtual reality platforms, they have full on like life games that cats are really just in dollar for dollar, like you would buy furniture. Probably not exact, but just like you would buy furniture or houses out here, and they're dumping loads of money into this virtual space that they've created for VR.
Yep, I've done it. I think there's probably about 4 or 5 platforms that I've been on that I've spent at least $100 to $200 a piece on. And those are like, like I bought land in one, and then they've started to build their platform. Now they have like a racing game, and every once in a while it'll pop up on my phone. And if I'm quick enough to get in, I'm good enough on the game where I can get first, second, or third, and then I earn money back from playing that game. And it's actually a substantial amount of money, like, not like $20,000-$30,000 or anything, but I'm talking like $5,000, $3,000, $1,000 if I win 40 races in a row.
Okay, because there are jobs also in this same virtual reality space.
Oh, for sure.
So you can so you can actually reaccrue whatever. But you don't accrue real funds outside of the game. You'll accrue credits that you, or whatever, monetary system they use within the game, but you're not generating external funds where the same funds you were spending going in, I guess. Yeah. But
I mean, there's different ways in the end where
I think some cash out though. They've got some where
yeah, for sure there's cash out systems, but what I was going to say is that there's secondary markets that have created that are based off of wanting to exchange money, like just exchange from one thing to another. So, oh, you have this much Ethereum and you want to sell it for pinata coins? No problem. Switchy switch. Here, I'll take the substantial difference and whatever. And that's become its own secondary market. And then on top of that, there's the secondary market of things that are products within the game that then become sold on different platforms or different secondary market platforms. Like, oh, you have this many coins and you want to sell them, or you have this part of the product that I need to put on my car and I can buy it from you. Then I can buy it with real world dollars instead of spending it in these credit account dollars that are, whatever. That may take me longer or might cost me more in the video game. I can go to a secondary market and buy it with real world dollars or trade it with different, e-currencies. I think what's going to happen in the end is that we're all going to end up like being almost like Apple. Like, I'll be a Nike head, you'll be an Apple head, you'll be a this head, I'll be a that head. And then there's going to be like chameleon people who just use everything, right? And then those people are going to have their own monetary systems that they follow. Like, instead of following a brand, like I don't want to be the Gucci follower or a Burger King follower or a McDonald's follower. I'm going to be the follower of a brand that's a bank or a system of whatever. Maybe it's even an ideology. And I'm just putting money into that ideology. So it could be whatever, right? And so now that I can like hang out and be in my resounding chamber, spending my money with the people that I want to spend money with. And so that becomes its own bubble of its own list, like not only monetary information, but also social and dynamic information that it's pulling from and teaching itself from and so on and so forth, right? So that's where I see it going to. And then those people will then have like on their phone the ability to go to any place and be like, oh, how are you paying? Oh, I'm paying with Decentraland. I'm paying with, whatever. Or maybe you don't even have to say anymore in the future. Yeah, I'm paying with my account. And it does whatever automatic change that needs to happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's organic in that sense. It's learning.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that as being the new kind of how it'll happen. So
now, I understand that you're also into some like cryptocurrency kind of stuff. Is that?
Yeah, I mean, like the shirt that I'm wearing is from this thing I did. It was a hackathon, so it was a Hackers Week. And we did a thing called boat heads, and it's an NFT, but it's not a non-fungible token. It's actually a fungible token. So basically, it's and it's funny that Landon and you said this, but organic. So the idea of the NFT is that you would get this base character that looks like a regular like 3D circle head, very simple character. But instead of having a head, he has a boat fitted on top of the circle part of his head. And so his eyes are now the boat glass, his jaw and mouth have come out this far, and his head kind of sticks out behind him. And that's your character. And so you now build upon that character by where you visit, by the games you play within that metaverse, and also in the real world places that you go that are used with your augmented reality glasses, or while you're using your phone. as an augmented viewer. And this will now allow you to see how deep the water is, or to see cool locations that other people have placed and other people go to, or marinas that are involved in our project that then, of course, we get into sponsorships, blah, 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 and all that stuff, right? So that's the idea. And so we pitched this concept, and we won first place. And then this group called the Shrimp Society connected to us, which is an NFT project that helps other small businesses grow and build their businesses. And that then led us to Niantic Labs. And Niantic Labs are the company that made Pokemon Go and other games that are what you would call augmented reality games. And so we're now doing the back end of the entire business, right? So like full on how and what and where and the view and the feeling and all of it, right? So the infrastructure of this with a team of 5 amazing different people. And so, yeah, it's been going on for like the last year and a half.
That's really cool.
And it's getting some traction, which is very cool, you know.
So the development of that character throughout this space and this game that they go through, the trials that they go through, coincides with the value of the NFT.
Well, so there's all these different aspects of the character, right? So it's funny, like you just turned this into an interview of me instead of interview of you. But the basically it's the character changes during a full moon into 4 different types of characters: a werewolf, a zombie, a mummy, and a vampire. And then the other thing that happens is that over time, the more that you own it, you get more barnacles on your whole entire body, and so you get covered in barnacles. And all of these things are different kinds of things that are happening, you know. Yeah, so that's the idea.
That's really neat. Well, the reason that I inquired about it is because where I was telling you that I've got the property out where I'm at, and being that's part of what I'm helping my family develop, is one of the places, the location that I just left, that mobile home I would like to build up, get it cleaned up and ready for rent so that I can have some type of passive income, which is where my interest came into investing. So and that'll be later down the road as I gain capital to get capital, or you know.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would for that whole thought process in and of itself, I would immediately start going and watching Cody Sanchez on YouTube. Yeah, is a young woman that owns, I think, 27 or 28 businesses. She makes like some stupid, ridiculous amount of money a year. I think it's like 80-something million a year. She's super smart, super with it, and she talks about how to buy businesses with other people's money, just like you would buy somebody owns home, like it's another home.
Is that Cody with a K?
It's a very simple. I'm just going to break it down and try to make it as simple as possible. It's this: if you can create a deal, hold on, Cody, I think with a C, Cody Sanchez. If you can create a deal that somebody else can see on paper, that has money, can understand what it is that you have created, and they will see an outcome of making money, then you will more than likely find somebody to give you the money for the thing that you're looking to do, period.
Right.
Period. That's it. So all your job is to do is to, for instance, like when you said, I have this thing and I want to clean it out. For me, I'm like, no, dude, go find a plot of land and empty that plot of land out, clean it out, put in a little pond if there is, and if there's a pond there already, then, you know, do the landscaping, everything, set up 10 locations with electricity, with plumbing, and then now you have a location where you could say, hey, people can come in constantly throughout the year. You could set up a website with all 12 locations and a calendar of dates to rent and let it go. And then, you know, when people show up, there's a QR code here, rent one of our spots. If one of our spots is open,
Nice.
and, you know, check the date, check the time. Yep, I can get in. They rent it right there and then, QR code it, and they go in. And you have cameras, and you 24-hour it. And
as the way that the land is already developed into a mobile home park, the most sensible thing for me to do with that particular part would be to rent that out. But using
no, what I'm saying is that you would create the business plan for a plot of land that is empty, and you wouldn't do any of the work. You're just building out what it would take to do that, so that you go to the guy and go, hey, the investment's, you know, $25,000 because that's 10% of whatever it is. And we're using your credit or whatever, but we're making $2.4 million a year off of the property, and all I want is 30%, and then you get 30% of that at the end of the year or whatever throughout the year, and there's your residual income. Well, go fuck yourself. You're making $100,000 or some odd $1,000 a year immediately, and all you did was help somebody else create the deal. And then maybe you help run it, or maybe you help organize the work and labor and as the guy, so that you can have that. And that's your deal that you make with the guy, so he doesn't have to deal with all he just goes, here's the money. Right? So that's the better way that's how I would think about wanting to do it. Like, I would take that a step up. Now, is there another way? Sure. You could find somebody who owns 3, 4, 5 units that you then go and start Airbnb-ing. I had a guest on 3 episodes ago, I believe, and that's what he did in Indonesia. So his story was, he had just come back from Australia, went to Indonesia, didn't have really any idea what he was going to do. And he knew that he was really good at photography, and he wanted to try and do real estate. And so he tried to do real estate, but couldn't sell, and then looked at his friend and said, let's try and do an Airbnb. And his friend said, okay. He goes, let me borrow $5,000. His friend said, okay. And he bought a bunch of equipment. And with 3 properties that he was trying to sell anyways, he turned those into Airbnbs. And then that turned into this massive business for him over this short amount of time.
Nice. Yeah, I'd definitely like to get some investors. You can find it, because there's a lot of places out around where I'm at, especially in the less developed and rural areas. And that would be in close proximity to what I already have existing. That would be ideal.
I think that would be like the actual thing to do. You know, it would be able to, because especially if it's growing and it's starting to become like a thing, and people are starting to hear about it, and you're on the outskirts of it, like right, here's a city, and then you're right here. Oh, it's not so bad, Mom and Dad. We can do this 45 or hour drive to go to this cool camping spot that's all glamped out, so that we don't have to be stressed. And that could be our wedding location. That could be our family blah, blah, blah location. That could be and then it becomes a thing. Like I watched a whole thing on a woman who bought, I think, 3 acres of land, or an acre or 2 acres of land. And she converted it into a glamping camping location with its own like sheltered area for people to do weddings and cookouts and blah, blah, blah. And it turned into a business, and she was making like $1.2 million a year renting it out. So yeah, I think that it's a viable thing to think of stuff like that, by all means.
Absolutely. Yeah. Land's never going to depreciate. So. Yeah.
Right. It's all about how you use the land, right? Like, or how you change the view of it, and not necessarily in changing the classification of the land, but nonetheless, just the way that you use the land. There's so many different ways. Like when I was looking and talking with my friend who was in Florida, he did that, and we found, with just it being agricultural land, we found like 200 plus different things that you could do in that area of Florida. And then out of that, so many that would give you, government funding because you're doing something with wildlife or this, that, or the other. And there was a million things you could do. You just had to pick which ones you wanted to do and if they could work together and so on and so forth. So, yeah, man, it's all about how you want to do what you want to do with it. That's it.
Yeah, I'd love to get you up here in North Carolina and over here where they've got some of these smaller glamping locations that have started popping up around the riverside. There's one place that's got it's an old hotel that they're remodeling, but out behind it, while they've got this heavy renovation project they've got going on, they've already built up cabins and campgrounds and set up wash houses and things like that so that they can still drum up funds and have people staying there on the property in the meantime that they get the other stuff fixed up. And it's a really cool place. If you like floating down the river, it's a great fun time.
Yeah. I mean, and then that's the exact same thing I'm thinking of. Like when you said that right now, I'm thinking of like a place where it's on the side of a river, and there's a place where you can park your RVs. There's a place where you can go camping. There's a little house, if you will, that is like a common house where people have like an open kitchen and that kind of idea. And like all of that on a stretch, and you pay so much per day or whatever, and then maybe even a little place per stage, and just like, what is that? Like 2-3 acres, that's where it's at.
And maximize profits out of that little slice of land too.
Yeah, man. I think that's where that's the game plan. As far as I have a friend of mine who just recently bought a restaurant, and he does seafood, right? And that's I was talking to him like, how could you do this year round? Because the thing that does the most business is crawfish, right? Because that's what New Orleans is known for. That's what this business is known for. And so the search began. Where can we find this thing? Is it possible? Can you create crawfish all year? What are the things that you need to do? And it became this possibility. And then if it becomes a possibility, that's like changing the game 100%, So yeah, it's very cool. And Landon came in here. He says it's called Grogan's Court or Grogan's Glamping, directly on the banks of the Dab River.
Yeah, that's the one that they're rebuilding the old motel, and that place is awesome. It's the Dan River.
Yeah, I think that places like that are going to need places to the side of it, or even just downriver of it, that are going to be the same thing,
Where I live, or where I was born and raised at, is expanded up north into what's Oak Ridge. Oak Ridge is now expanding and wanting to develop further north into and east into what is, Summerfield, and Summerfield's got a lot of horse farms, got a lot of larger cuts of land that aren't wanting to develop or sell off and break down. So the next step is right up above that, which is where I'm at in Stokesdale now. And what they're hashing out now is trying to get a casino built right across the highway from where I'm at, which is going to increase my taxes, but it's also going to increase the property value. And it's going to bring, a lot more business, a lot more money into this tiny little area. But that's if they can get it pushed through. That's a whole nother story about my little local situation.
Yeah, I think but the idea is that the township and that the people are already starting to think of expansion and growing and building. You're already like 10 to 15 years ahead of everybody else. So if you were to start now, in 5-10 years, when people start to get it, and then 15 years later, you're already way ahead of the game. You already have 5 locations because you were so ahead of the mark, because you could feel the vibe. And that's all that is right there. You can see that the vibe's changing. People are going into it. And now you just have to just kind of, just get into that. And then before you know it, and that's the same thing this my friend did when he was in the Philippines.
Yeah, so that's definitely something I'm going to be looking into here in the very near future. That's going to be a solid stepping stone into what I want to develop into, having more availability, more resource, more space to create opportunity to do things like what we like to do, and get that pollination back out, get that deep coded knowledge, and help facilitate a space where we can really grow a proper community. I've lost all your volume, bud.
Yeah, no, you're right. Sorry. I was going to say, I think that's one of the things that's the ultimate lesson that we're here to learn, is that we all have this story and a journey, and that it's never easy for any of us, no matter how good or how bad the world seems to be for somebody else. When you really sit down and get to actually talk to somebody, it's amazing to see the journey that they've gone on, and how much it affects you by just talking, and like just understanding like your point of view or your thoughts or whatever, your how you got to where you came to think the way you think, and why, and so it makes more sense, and that's why it's like, oh, okay, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and to be a part of that is very special, and that's what I firmly believe is one of my main callings, and what fulfills me in this life is to be part of that, and to see that change, and continue that, and see them want to hopefully do the same thing for the next person. Or take it back home with them, and maybe just sleep on it for a while and let it grow in them, and maybe it comes 5 minutes down the road, maybe it comes 5 decades down the road, but it's planting that seed, and not just planting the seed, but setting the soil and building the nursery around that seed, and letting it grow, letting it know that it's okay to grow, Yeah, I've got that Cody. What do you say?
I said there's a big. What's that?
I was saying I've got that name written down that you gave me earlier too, so I'm going to check on that.
Yeah. Cody Sanchez is really badass. And then the other one I would say to follow is what's his name? Give me a second. He owns a company called acquisitions.com. Humrosi, I believe is his last name. Yeah, it's Mark Humrosi, and he started off with selling gym membership packages, and then also selling the supplements that went with the packages as a franchise-based idea, and just blew up. And smart guy. Sold his business and made like $85 million, bought acquisitions.com, and now he just buys businesses. And one of his things, and one of Cody's things, is if you can find a business and you can make the business plan, they'll give you the money to buy the business, or they'll get involved in it, or they'll project, whatever. So, and they're fairly accessible people if you try to reach out to them in that manner. So yeah, man, that's another way to go about it. There's ways, man. There are definite ways out there for you to go out and like change your life and not work a regular, normal day-to-day job. Like for instance, if you looked up in your town alone, or in a town that you know that this would work, look up a laundromat for sale.
Oh man, yeah.
Dude, you have to understand, it's the most nondescript thing. It doesn't take but 2 people to 3 people to run it in a yearly base thing, right? Where you have 3 employees year round. You have a manager, a worker, a fixer. You know, a guy comes in and works, or maybe you have two people that work, plus and that person who you maybe give them in the location a place for them to live if they want to live at the location. So they live there, they work there, they clean there, they do the thing there. And another guy is the one who fixes it. That's it, bro. You can make so much money off of it. It's a cash-based business, and those things are selling for $150,000 a piece. What is it? What's 20% of that? $30,000. And for $30,000, you can put money down on a business that you can then own, and then within the first year, you can pay off the business. And then you're making like $1 million a year, and out of that, you pull yourself $300,000. The rest goes towards the business, and the rest goes towards expenses and taxes, and boom, you have fucking $300,000 in your pocket.
Yeah, it's.
Can it be done? Can it be done? Yes, it can be done. Is that real? Yes, that's 100% real. All you have to do is just go look it up. There's people who are selling their businesses just like people sell cars, just like people sell watches or sell anything. People sell businesses.
Yeah.
There's brokers and real estate agents, and you know what I mean? Like, call them like business estate agents. There really is like a whole thing out there. A whole ecosystem of the thing I'm talking about. That if you figure it out, you can go do it yourself, just like a house, just like all the things that are out there. You can do it yourself. You just got to figure out how to do it.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And do you need somebody? Do you need good credit? Sure, but do you have to have your credit do it? No. Can you create an LLC and use the LLC's credit? Yes. Can you build an LLC credit? Sure. Does it take time? Yes. Can it be done? Yes. Can you build through somebody else's credit? Yes. So I'm saying all those things are still there. And that's the thing that I want everybody to think that way. To like, I had a friend of mine the other day, and she's like, "Man, I'm just so depressed, and everything's just so heavy right now, and I don't know what to do." And I'm like, "Look, you're young enough to pick anything, and just go, and just no matter what happens, don't stop. One thing. That's it. For the next 10 years straight, only do one thing. Fashion, and you're gonna do clothing, and you're gonna make clothing and fashion. Don't stop for the next 10 years. Make clothing and fashion. Learn it. Study it. Research it. ChatGPT it. YouTube it. Go to courses. Find a teacher. Learn how to sew. Learn how to just engulf your life in that. Don't think about anything else. Don't worry about food. Don't worry about housing. Don't worry about anything. Just go do that. Because all of those other things will come to the wayside, because you're going to end up working at a Joanne Fabrics because you want to get in the thing, or whatever, or you're going to end up going to some lady who makes quilts and work for the quilt lady, because that's what you do if you want to be in that life.
Yeah.
If I want to go learn how to make shoes, I'm going to go find a cobbler and be like, "Bro, you need anybody to work in the cobbling section?" All right, that's the only way to do it.
How can I help? Can you teach me? Will you teach me? Yeah.
Will you teach me your trade? I want to learn. How do I know you want to learn? I'm willing to sweep the floors and wipe your ass, sir. Let me do it.
Absolutely, because I mean that's you can't pay for knowledge like that.
Right.
And like what I was talking about before with the jobs and positions that I've taken on, much like what I've got going on now to learn to be an electrician. While I'm bettering myself at whether it be the carpentry part of it or doing some paint, and I get to a stopping point. Hey, come over and help me with this junction box or what have you. And learning these bits and pieces of it at a time, or just it being an exclusively electrician job. That knowledge alongside being able to work, it's phenomenal. I love it. It's given me an opportunity to both grow, learn, and make money. So I mean, it's beautiful, beautiful thing.
Right, and you're learning about the world around you, and you're learning about all these different things, and like electricity and geometry and journeyman and all of it. All of it, and that builds a person as much as that's the same thing as saying I'm learning the humanities. That's what your humanities are in college. In the end, it's learning about art. It's learning about the different heretic type ideologies. It's so much, right? It's the everything course of life, and it's really the only way to really learn in life.
I love it. It's been exactly exactly what I've needed it to be. You turn around, find out, you get what you need.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I've had a lesson upon a lesson upon a lesson, and it's no holds barred. It's been amazing getting to experience a lot of these things that I otherwise may not have in the same flow that I have. Being able to wear these different hats, be the jack of these different trades has brought me in a lot of unique experience, that trial by fire kind of thing, and it's a great teacher. It's keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, for sure. So what are you working on right now in life? What's the newest thing that you're doing that's right now, that if people wanted to go find you and they wanted to get in touch with you, what's the thing that you're doing now that people can somehow acquire or get?
A thing that I'm working on right now, I've got some stuff kind of stacked here behind me. There's that cajon that I had down at the drum circle. I've got some painting stuff that I'm going to be starting back into. I'm working on new tie-dyes for the Halloween season. I'm getting back into doing my tie-dyes and practicing my patterns. So I'll be for the next 3 weeks. I've got 3 events that are micro events, if you will, or just a slightly smaller scale of the same type of benefit that I met you at. And, that's going to be running each weekend from now to the end of the month. And right now I'm trying to get some gifts done and get some Halloween tie-dyes done. I've got pendants that I'm working on. I've got.
So do you have a YouTube channel or a TikTok or something like that where you make videos of you making stuff?
The social media source that I'm available on right now is my Facebook page. But I am going to be getting back on probably Instagram, just for the connectivity, and they've got the different stages of cameras, filters, lenses, and things. Oops. Let's see here. I was going to see if I could get in some better light without completely blinding us here. Nope. Let's see.
You're good, man. It's all good.
I was trying to get you a view of this pendant here that I'm working on.
That's beautiful. Yeah. Oh, that's gorgeous.
It's got a mirror set into the back of it. It's just a block of, and actually this wood came from that location that you and I met.
Wow.
I believe it's some type of ironwood, they called it. Very, very dense, very hard wood. But yeah, just a little bit of wire from one of the electric jobs that I had gotten done, and set that in there. But I've got a couple different pieces that I want to get together for whoever might have them. See if I can get the camera to focus on this one.
Oh, nice.
This is going to be a little pendant also. And it's velvet soft. but it's hard as a rock. So it's really cool, really good wood. But yeah, I'm working on a couple of pen and pieces, working on my tie dyes so I get my patterns back down. I'd really like to get more into that and get my I want to build myself a screen print situation so that I can practice more different styles of the tie dyes. I would like to get more into my resist dyes, and I like making I like doing sketches and stencils. So I'd like to surprise my buddy Corey Carhill, CJC Remodeling. This guy I'm working with right now for the LLC. I want to get him a stencil made so I can get him a couple of t-shirts, even though it's just me and him working together right now, but we'll have t-shirts to support the business. But that's my buddy, man. He's come a long way with this thing he's got going on. I'm proud of him. He's working his heart out. So
that's cool, man.
Yeah, I'm happy to be a part of it. And, he's helping build me, and I'm helping build him, and that on such a larger scale that's what it's all about, right?
Well, okay, man. Look, I want people to be able to find you. So, what's your Facebook so that people can find you?
My Facebook. I'll see if I can put it in the comments and links. But it's Psy Fly, PSYFLY. And my name is Matt Magyar on there. It's with 2 T's. MATTMAGYAR, Magyar. That's spelled just like it sounds.
Yeah, dope. Okay, man. Well, thank you for being on the show. Like, what an amazing! I had an amazing time. I hope you had a good time.
Well, I had a great time chatting up. Thanks for getting me on, and a lot of the stuff that I get to say, especially in at-length conversations, I benefit from having said it. I hope as much as anybody could hopefully maybe possibly benefit from hearing it. It helps me put things into practice.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think that everybody who's here is in agreement to that. Even Chris, who says amazing episode. Landon earlier had said the biggest thank you for Matt for doing that for me when he was talking earlier. When we were talking about earlier things. She says thank you for your time. I can't agree more. Thank you for your time, man, and thank you for being here today. I really appreciate you.
Well, and you keep on doing this, man. Keep on.
Man, without a doubt. I will.
These knowledge trees, these love trees, and let's pollinate the earth with it, brother.
100%, man.
All right.
You have a beautiful day, bro. I'll see you soon.
Talk to you soon, bro.
All right, bro. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So good. All right, let's see. I'm kicking him off. There it is. It's gone. Ladies and gentlemen, that was it. What? Oh, my God. Ding, 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 ding. Episode 34. I think it was pretty good. I don't know. You tell me. But what I'd like to say is what an amazing platform. We're going to figure out all the kinks and everything else. Chris, thank you for jumping in and jumping all over to all the different sites to figure out if any of this is working. We're going to figure it out. I will go and do some finaglings and figure out what's what and what's how. Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you would not mind, please go out into the world to do something nice for somebody else. And if you can't do something nice for yourself, it does start with you. Number 2, don't get caught up in all the crazy stuff in this world, because if you do, you end up like poopity poops, and that's not good. And number 3, please like, share, subscribe, send this out to somebody who'd like to see it. And thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really do. And I will see you all on the other side.